we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, good morning, guys. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I wanted to give you guys a quick update on what's going on with the stock market today. Today is June 12th, 2020. And first thing I'll say is that if you're into the whole day-to-day of what's going on in the market, you're going to see the value of your stocks probably go up today. If you have a diversified portfolio, good things are going to happen. The futures market is predicting that we're going to have a great open today. Now, is that going to maintain all throughout the day? I don't know. It's only it's about 8 a.m. right now, Eastern time. But yesterday's sell-off was pretty bad. It was pretty ugly. It was totally expected. It was completely expected because you had such a rise before that. You made so much money before the sell-off that the sell-off was going to happen, and you probably still made a profit from the time you bought the stock. Basically this whole conversation about Corona is still out there. Everybody's wondering, what's the second wave going to look like? Is it coming? How big is it going to be? And I can just tell you, that right now the numbers aren't that strong. They're not that bad. They're just higher than they were before. So, unfortunately with media, what happens is that when a number is higher than it was before, then that becomes a headline, right? Okay, such and such number grew by 30%, but really there were going to be new infections because the economies were opening up. So you're going to have, it's just like if I shut down driving, if I say, we want to cut down on the number of car accidents so no one's allowed to drive, right? Then what would happen is the number of accidents would drop down to 0 because nobody would be in the car. And then let's say I open it up and I say, okay, we're going to let you drive for an hour a day if you want to. Well, what's going to happen? The number of accidents are going to go up, and that becomes a headline. Headlines, like, oh my God, the number of accidental deaths has increased. I would also say that with that virus thing, I'm more curious about the number of deaths than the number of infections, particularly since the CDC and the World Health Organization, other independent medical groups have pretty much, concluded that most people who get the virus don't die. So it's like I'm not going to compare it to the flu, but there are people who say that you actually can make that comparison to a point, in the sense that there are many things that can happen to a lot of people that could kill you, but don't usually kill you. So Corona doesn't usually kill. It's rare for a person to catch it and rare for a person to die from it, at least right now. But so ultimately, a lot of the companies that have been doing really well tend to be those cyclical plays or those recovery plays. Carnival and some of the airlines, stuff like that. American Airlines. I think I didn't even realize it. I owned American, and I just happened to look at my portfolio and notice that it had gone up 100% in a week or something. And that's very speculative. That's almost insane in terms of the amount of growth in a stock in a short period of time. I believe that I actually give some credibility to the theories that a lot of this retail trading that's occurring on apps like Robinhood could be driving a lot of this. That you have a lot of people that are bored sitting at home and they can't gamble on sports, so they're gambling on stocks. And that was a conversation I had with a brother this morning on my Facebook page, and he was basically, you're going to have, when you're doing stuff like this, you're going to have people that are going to come challenge you, and I don't mind that. Just be nice, you ain't got to be a jerk about it. But he was sort of like, you're full of crap. This is fraudulent. What you're talking about is fraudulent. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, you should be telling people that every time there's a sell-off, that there's going to be a recovery the next day, and people should be trading based on the recovery. Well, first of all, we do talk about reversals all the time. But one of the things I did say is I said, look, I like to teach investing. I don't really like to teach gambling. I like to teach about the fundamentals of the market for long-term buy and hold investing, Warren Buffett style. That makes me feel better. That helps me sleep at night. Day trading is cool, but day trading, it's fine. You can do it if you want to. And I buy and sell stocks, on a daily basis. So it's okay to do it that way. But the thing about it is that it requires you to constantly pay attention to what's happening in the market. And some people don't want that stress. Some people just want to be able to set it and forget it and just know that if they're consistent, if they're on a consistent investment path over a 20, 30-year period, they're going to have $500,000, $1 million in the bank that they can go access. Like, so that's really kind of, what you see. You have to be really careful about constantly trading stocks all day long, every day, because what happens is that, number one, the stress level's higher. That's true. And then chasing the next great stock is just something that the research has shown really isn't a great move. I've looked at all the research. I used to think that too. When I was going to grad school and I was getting my PhD, I thought, well, yeah, smart people can pick good stocks or whatever. But when they did that monkey experiment in 1974, where they actually showed that monkeys investing in the stock market could actually make the same money as some of the leading experts in the field. Go look it up. It's a book called A Random Walk Down Wall Street. It's an experiment by Burton Malkiel. And he just basically took some monkeys and showed that monkeys could earn the same as some of these experts. That really convinced me in terms of not so much saying that you can't benefit by taking advantage of day-to-day reversals, meaning, what goes up a lot of times will cool off and what goes down will recover, dead cat bounces and all that stuff. But at the same time, this idea of sort of looking for the right stock at the right time, which they call market timing, is not shown to be a profitable long-term strategy, as opposed to simply buying and holding, and also buying more when the market dips. When the market dips, the market tends to be on an upward trend. It's just been like that for over 100 years. But when there's a dip, if you buy a little more whenever there's a dip, then your returns are going to be higher. That's my thought. That's not me telling you what to do. That's me just saying, you could choose your style. Some people don't want to go crazy and have to watch their stocks all day long, every day. The other piece of that I forgot to mention is that if you're constantly trading all the time, you're going to get a big old tax bill, because short-term capital gains, those taxes are higher than long-term capital gains. So if you're doing all that trading, you better make sure you have really good records and a really good accountant, so that they can make sure that you're good with the IRS. Let's see here. So it seems, Doctor, the last few months have been full of pump and dumps throughout the market. Diamond, I'm not going to disagree with you. There's a lot of weird stuff that is happening. There is a lot of what they call dumb money in the market, meaning, people that are pushing stock prices up to levels they shouldn't be, like the Hertz. Hertz actually went to the judge and said, we want to release 247 million shares of stock because there are idiots out here that are buying, shares in a bankrupt company and pushing the valuations up to really high levels because they're speculating. They're looking for a bigger dummy that's going to buy that stock from them, hoping that the price will keep going up. And I can't knock it. That's kind of a rule of investing, honestly, is that wealth transfers tend to go from impatient people to patient people to uninformed people, from uninformed people to informed people. Like, so for example, even when you talk about like an NBA player that goes to the NBA and he's making $30 million a year, but he knows nothing about finances and nothing about investing, he's going to get ripped off because somebody's going to see that he doesn't know what's going on, and they're going to basically get him to sign some stupid contract and pay some massive fee to him just to manage his investments. And next thing you know, the athlete's money will kind of dwindle away, but this other guy's money is going to actually grow. So you don't want to be uninformed. You don't want to be financially illiterate, because those choices are very costly. And so as we talk about, and that actually leads to a segue. As we talk about kind of what's happening in the country right now, black people are getting lots of attention right now. I don't know how long this is going to last. Corporations are committing millions of dollars to causes that relate to black people. I hope that there's accountability there to know exactly what they're going to do. I think also it's important that you take it up on yourselves to commit yourselves to building businesses so that you can control your communities. Buying real estate and teaching your children the value of buying real estate so you can own your communities, so that police can't come in neighborhoods where you have 90% home ownership and just shoot somebody. Like, for example, in my neighborhood, you can't come in my neighborhood and kill somebody that lives in my neighborhood unless you have a very good reason for doing so. You can't just come through roughshod, acting a damn fool, pulling out your strap like you're just going to take down anybody, beat up somebody's grandma. They can't do that in my neighborhood because we're homeowners. We will go and we will be all up in that ass. Like, we will go to the city council. We will go to the mayor. We will shut you down. We will have your job. We will have you in jail. It ain't happening in a neighborhood where you have, people that actually control the resources and the power in that neighborhood. So black people have to understand the importance of controlling and owning the things that you're involved in, starting with your schools, your businesses, and your property. Those are three things that you can start with: schools, businesses, and properties. That's why our black core of three in the Black Business School is that we must educate our own children, create our own jobs, and support black businesses. And then fourth, that will come from that, is the ability to police our own communities. So don't run around here like a victim screaming hands up, don't shoot, and thinking that you're going to march and pray your way out of this. No, it takes real constructive action. It takes a real dedicated, sort of focused discussion and planning strategy on how you're going to actually execute, thank you, Shelton, the powernomics vision for your community, with the operative word being power, and then economics is the driver behind the power that you're seeking to have. So does that make sense? Give me a yes or no in the chat if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense for you. And speaking of power, for Black Movie Night, you guys know one power play we're making right now is we're creating a black-owned film industry by supporting black filmmakers. We gather thousands of people for Black Movie Night at least once a month. And this week we decided that instead of watching an independent black film, we felt like we needed to resurrect the spirit of Malcolm X. And what we're going to do is we're going to watch his speech, The Ballad of the Bullet. And I'm going to break that down. We're going to analyze that tonight at Black Movie Night. So if you want to join us, Black Movie Night, it's June 12th at 8 p.m. That's Friday, June 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's totally free. You can register at blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net. So thank you, Slim. I appreciate you saying you have our support. Well, you have my support. We support each other. So blackmovienight.net. So I hope you guys will come out. Bring your kids. It's going to be really, really good because I think that we need to have, as a community, alternative learning sources so that we can really know what's going on. The fact that nobody is that mainstream people still aren't really checking for Dr. Claude Anderson still says America really isn't ready for a real conversation about blackness. It doesn't mean Dr. Anderson has to be the center of the conversation, but when you're looking at mainstream thinking and they're going for, say, the Al Sharptons over the Claude Andersons, I think that really speaks a lot to the direction you're going, because I don't think that we've gotten the results we're looking for with the Al Sharptons. I just don't believe that. We're just gonna fill that void. So feel free to join us, blackmovienight.net. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and everything else. And what's up to everybody on Instagram? My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. So if you want to have a real conversation about real black issues that's completely unapologetic and unafraid, and also always intelligent and open-minded, go check me out at The Real Boyce Watkins on Instagram. We would love to have you. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. And I see you from Europe. All right. Shout out to you over in Europe. God bless you. Have a good day, everybody. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down.